All right, future doctors, let me ask you a question. Have you ever known a physics concept inside and out, had the formula memorized perfectly, and then still gotten the final answer wrong on a numerical problem? Yeah, if that feeling sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving into the hidden reason that keeps happening.
It's honestly one of the most frustrating things for any NEET aspirant, right? You put in all the hard work, you get the theory down, but then some little calculation mistake just robs you of those precious marks. Well, you're definitely not alone, and today we're going to fix it.
So here's the big secret. The problem probably isn't your understanding of the science. Nope, your grasp on that is likely solid. The real culprit? It's the basic, foundational math that every single one of these problems is built on. It's like the invisible scaffolding that holds the entire question together. And we call this the hidden exam hurdle for a reason. Because in a high-stakes, timed exam like NEET, it's not enough to get the right answer. You have to get the right answer fast. And slow, clumsy calculations, they can totally derail even the smartest students out there. And look at this. The payoff is huge. Just mastering a few of these shortcuts can literally save you 10 to 15 minutes on your entire paper. Just think about what you could do with an extra 15 minutes. You could go back and review those tricky questions, double-check your work. It's an absolute game changer. So, let's get into our first superpower, pure calculation speed. We're going to start with a technique that has a kind of a dramatic name. It's called common kidnapping. It's just a fun way of saying we're going to spot the common number in an equation and pull it out to make our lives way, way easier. Okay, just look at the difference here. The slow method on the left involves two separate, kind of annoying multiplications that you have to add up. But look at the fast method. You just spot that 25 is in both parts, you kidnap it out front, and boom. All you have to do is 25 times 30. It's so much cleaner and saves you precious seconds.
All right, our second superpower is all about avoiding a really common trap, especially when you're dealing with things like electrostatics or vectors. It's time to finally tame the negative beast.
This right here, this is the only mantra you will ever need for multiplying and dividing negative numbers. Seriously, just burn it into your brain. Same sign as positive, different sign as negative. That's it. It cuts right through all the confusion.
Let's see it in action. You've got -2 times -3. They have the same sign, right? So the answer is a +6. Now -2 times +3, different signs, so the answer has to be a -6. And of course, we can't forget the golden oldie. Subtracting a negative number is just the same as adding. Two minuses always make a plus.
Now, what about subtraction? I'm talking about that one specific scenario that trips everyone up, when you have to subtract a bigger number from a smaller one. There's a golden rule for this that makes it so simple.
It's just a simple three-step trick. Instead of freaking out about how to do 5 minus 12 in your head, just flip it around. Do 12 minus 5 instead. That's easy, it's 7. Then, for your last step, you just stick a negative sign in front of it. The answer is -7. This little method is basically foolproof.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about everybody's favorite subject, fractions. I know, they can be a real headache, but we're going to turn that frustration into fluency, and that means getting to the right answers fast.
The secret weapon for adding or subtracting fractions is the least common multiple, the LCM. Look, you can't just add halves and thirds. It doesn't work. But if you find their LCM, which is 6, you can turn them both into 6. And then all of a sudden, 3/6 plus 2/6 is a super simple addition problem.
Now listen, if you really want speed, some things just have to be automatic. These common fraction to decimal conversions, they need to be an instant reflex. You shouldn't even have to think. The second you see 1/4, your brain should just fire back, 0.25, no hesitation. This brings us to superpower number 4, conquering those terrifying complex division problems. We're going to use something called the 4-floor rule. Because, when you stack fractions on top of each other, it can look like a 4-story building. This will make it all make sense.
This might just be one of the most useful math tricks you will ever learn. When you have to divide one fraction by another, just remember these 3 little words: keep, change, flip. You keep the top fraction exactly as it is. You change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and you flip the bottom fraction upside down. It magically turns a scary division problem into a simple multiplication. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. We're going to shift from pure number crunching to a core math concept that is, and I mean this, at the absolute heart of physics and chemistry, and that is proportionality. So you've got two main flavors here. In a direct proportion, like with pressure and temperature, as one thing goes up, the other thing goes up with it. Double the pressure, you double the temperature. But in an inverse proportion, it's the opposite. As the volume doubles, the pressure gets cut in half. Understanding this relationship lets you predict what's going to happen without even doing a full calculation.
And really, this gets to the whole point. Concepts like proportionality, they're not just some random math homework. This is the language that science uses to describe how the universe works. And if you want to excel in science, you have to become fluent in this language. It's non-negotiable.
Okay, let's do a super quick recap of your new math arsenal. We've got common kidnapping to boost your speed. We've got the negative number mantra, the small minus large rule, using LCM for fractions, memorizing your key decimals, the keep change flip rule for division, and finally, mastering proportionality. These are your new secret weapons.
Look, these skills aren't just clever tricks. They are essential tools for building speed, for building accuracy, and for building your confidence. They're going to save you so much time in that exam hall and stop those frustrating, silly mistakes. So the only question left is, are you ready to put in the practice to truly master them?